All right, so I'm going to do A11. This is number 22. So I want to put these in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and write that. We want them to be from least to greatest. And I have the numbers -1 and 7/10, -1 and 3/4, and -1 and 7/9. So the first thing I'm going to do is get them so they're all in terms of a decimal, a fraction. So I have -1 and 7/10, so I'm going to write it that way as -1 and 7/10. There we go. And then I have my -1 and 3/4 and my -1 and 7/9. So in order to compare them, I need to have a common denominator. So as I look at these, I'm pretty aware that I need my common denominator. I look at 10, 4, and 9, and there's nothing that goes into both 10, 4, and 9. So I'm simply going to have to get a common denominator. That's going to be, my 10 times my 4 times my 9. So when I start with the first one here, I'm going to multiply this by 4/4, and then times 9/9. And that's going to give me my -1, and then in my numerator, right, when I multiply across, I have 7 times 4, which is 28, and 28 times 9, and that gives me 252. And then I have 10 times 4, which is 40, and then 40 times 9, which is 360. So there's the first one. Now I'm going to do the next one, and I'll choose a different pretty color, and I'm going to multiply this by 10/10, and this by 9/9, and that's going to give me -1, and in my numerator I have 3 times 10, which is 30, and 30 times 9, which gives me 270, and then I have 4 times 10 times 9, which I already know is 360. So it's over 360. And now I do the last one, and I go ahead and grab yet another pretty color. And I'm going to multiply this one, right, by 4/4 and by 10/10, right? And now I have, once again, my 9, my 4, and my 10 in my denominator. So that's going to give me a -1, and 7 times 4, right, that's 28. 28 times 10 gives me 280 over, and then in my denominator, right, I have my 9, my 4, and my 10 again, so that gives me 360. And now I have to think about how those line up on the number line. So let's go ahead and draw a number line. So here we go. Here's our number line coming all the way down the side here. And if I go ahead and just call some spot arbitrarily here 0, right? I know that this is going to be 1/360. And then I get, right, 2/360. Okay, so that's if I'm going in the positive direction. I want to go in the negative direction, so I know this is going to be -1/360, and then I'm going to have -2/360, -3/360. So I'm going to come down here, and the first one I'm going to have is going to be a -252/360. That says 360, guys. That's really sloppy. And the next one will be my -270/360, and then finally I'm going to have my -280/360. Okay, and now we know, right, that 1/360ths is greater than 0, 2/360ths is greater than 1, so we remind ourselves anything above is bigger than anything below it, right? We know that positive 1 360 is greater than negative 1 over 360. So I come down here and I say, okay, this one is the farthest down here, right? Therefore, I know this is my smallest number. So it asks me to put them in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to put that one first. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say the smallest one. So least to greatest, I'm going to go is negative 1 over 280 3/60ths, which of course is the same thing as saying negative 1 and 7/9. And now I come over and I look at the next one, and I see that it is negative 270 as I go up. So the next largest one is going to be negative, is going to be, what color was that one? There we go. Is going to be a negative 1 and 270 over 360. And that's negative 1 3/4, right? Because, right, those are all equal to one another. And then finally, this is my biggest one. So let's go ahead and do that one. So that one is negative 1 and 252 over 360. And that we know is equal to 1 and 7/10. So I'm going to come over here and I will write negative 1 and 7/10. And there they are in their tidy little order, right? This one is the smallest, this one's next, and this one's the largest. Okay, so I ordered them from least to greatest. Remember, anyone that's below it, right, is smaller than one above it. So this is the smallest, right, and this is the biggest one in this number line. All right, long-winded definition, but we are done with that one, and we'll move on to the next one, which is very short. All right, so this one's really fast. I have the absolute value of negative 1/2. So once again, this is asking for the distance from 0 to negative 1/2. Well, that's just really pretty. That doesn't even look like a 2. Anyway, so, you know, that distance is always positive. I don't ever say, you know, I drove negative 7 miles. So the distance from 0 to negative 1/2 is a positive 1/2. So an absolute value is always positive. Okay? Just like you should be. That's your extra credit. What should you always be? And the answer is positive. All right, there you go. End of the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow.